10th of March 2024. It's a Sunday, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about a lot of the things that is happening around us. And this is a loose cannon because I'm going to shoot shots off and you can catch it and duck it and respond to it if you like. I'm looking around me and I look at the newspapers, I look at the news feeds and so forth. And it is quite clear. South Africa is politically basically broken beyond repair. Why do I say that? If I look at the political parties that are the main players, there's not a single one of those parties that are really standing for common decency and basic good principles. None of it. It's all stories. Let's look at South Africa. The South African railways is destroyed, physically destroyed in certain places. Is there one single politician that has ever whipped his followers up to corner the government about that? Not one. Malema will call the people into the street for stupid things like fees must fall, and now this story with the Palestinians and the Israelis and things like that. And they create havoc and destruction. But has he ever whipped the people up into a frenzy about the fact that the railways have been destroyed? No, he doesn't do that. And in general, he actually promotes destruction. He is one of the guys that is encouraging illegal immigrants into the country. But he doesn't explain to his followers that those illegal immigrants are here to wipe them out. They don't do that. Let's look at another thing in the black community. This is what I call the sausage generation. The black community allowed the government, the ANC, under instigation of XXX, to install this breeding program. And nobody publicly came out against it. Nobody. And to many people it made sense that there's a grant for the babies. But the real mission behind that grant was what you are seeing now, this breeding, uncontrolled breeding. Today we're sitting here roughly, I'll take a rough guess, around about 22 million of the sausage generation. Now what you have to understand is those youngsters, the bulk of them is uneducated, unskilled, undisciplined, disconnected from their culture. They don't even know who their fathers are. But look at the destruction that they are causing in the communities and in the black communities. They burn the schools down. They destroy the businesses. They are the ones that are attacking and killing people in the streets. The youngsters. It's not the old guys, the old people that do it. It's those youngsters. You must understand, they've been bred specifically for that. But I have said it, they don't have a future. But they don't want to accept the fact that they don't have a future. Go and look at the universities. The bulk of those students there that are creating the chaos on the campuses, those guys will never in their lives get a proper degree. Never. They will not. There are some of them that they're not supposed to be there. They're just not intellectually capable of higher education. Now in my days, for me, in my generation, you first had to have the right aptitude before you were even considered as potential for higher education. And then you had to maintain a certain level of performance right through your school career, and specifically in your matric results, to qualify to go to university. And then when you get to the university, there was a series of tests that you had to write before you were accepted into the university. So the screening was very good, and it was rigorous, and that made sure that because a country invests a lot in a student on university, it costs the country a lot to have that student there. So it's like an investment. And the country must be sure that that investment is going to have a return. And this is the thing. None of those things are in play anymore in our society. Plus, South Africa is overrun by illegal immigrants, roughly about 20 million, and the sausage generation. That's 40 million in total out of the total population. People that don't give a fuck for South Africa. They're just here to loot and to destroy. That's what they do. That's their daily lives. And then I have mentioned in many of my Skidmarks that when this government finally collapses, large portions of the country, specifically the metros and so, large sections in the metros will be under full control of gangsters. That's what's going to happen. That's the realities. So we're sitting here and we see all these things, and then we listen to these politicians and they make all sorts of promises and claims. They can't deliver on anything. Point number one, the country is bankrupt. Point number two, the economy has been ruined. The industrial base has been destroyed. So there's nothing that can ever be revenue generating for this government. Whatever they still have is not even enough to cover the interest payments on the loans that they have made. And the report that came out last week about Eskom, that report that was written by that German company, I mean, that report has put everything on the table. There's no way that anybody can deny Eskom was destroyed by lack of skills, plundering of resources, and a premeditated plan to destroy the generation capacity. But what amuses me is that the black people, the masses, they're the masses. They accept this. They don't, but what is more amazing is that they will vote for the ANC, and 2 weeks after the election results, they will start rioting and burning things and destroying stuff because of a lack of service delivery. But they voted for the same guys that hasn't been delivering service for the past 30 years. Now, the only thing that you can blame for that is stupidity, lack of education, low IQ. You have to take that in consideration. And then people call me a fucking racist if I say that. Someone fuck you too. That's the reality. Look at what you blacks have done. Look what you have done. You've destroyed the country. The railway is gone, the harbours is gone, Eskom is gone, water is gone, sewage management is gone. Everything is fucked up. And you did it. Not me, not apartheid. You did it. Look at our cities. Look at the cities. I saw that video that's going around on WhatsApp about the garbage in Durban. It will take 30 years to clean that place up. But you can sit here and you keep on blaming whites and you blame apartheid and that. And you've got a lot of shit to say about whites. But let's just look at it. What have you blacks built in the past 30 years? Tell me, what have you built? You tried 2 power stations. They're still not working. And they're costing 5, 6, 7, 8 times more than what the original budget was. So you didn't build that. Some people try to tell me about the stadiums that were built for the Soccer World Cup. Oh, fuck. Don't fool yourself. Or the Rugby World Cup. Can't even remember. Yeah, Rugby World Cup. Bulk of those stadiums were built by white companies. Yeah, there was a lot of corruption involved in it, but it was white people that built it. You've built nothing. You blacks have built absolutely nothing. You can't even build a fucking school, which doesn't take a lot of brains. You need an architect that design the rooms, it's 1 story or 2 stories, and build the bloody stuff. You can't do it. You can't maintain the hospitals. Look at what's happening in the health service. And now you're screaming for the NHI. You must understand one thing. You will only realize how expensive free healthcare really is. Watch and wait. But the fact of the matter is, you can be violently racist, and that is enough to fool yourself. But you don't go and sit and look critically at it. Sit down critically, thinking. Think, what did blacks build in the last 30 years? What? Look at the attacks against the schools today. The last schools. This is the remnants of the Model C schools. You are dead set on destroying those as well. Malema can talk a lot of shit, but he sends his children to white schools. His security personnel, managed by white people. His legal teams, white people. But you, the followers of Malema, are too fucking stupid to ask yourself, what the hell is going on here? You've got an onslaught on the farmers. You must just understand one thing. When the food production collapses, you will remember these days. And you are too fucking stupid to understand that XXX has got a plan to wipe us all out. And the amazing thing is, you are helping them. You are assisting them. You are cheering them on. Why? I can only conclude it's because you're too fucking stupid to understand that you are working on your own demise. You don't see it. And you have to blame that on IQ. So, I don't know where it's going, but if you think another political party is going to give you a better future, you better think again. Because politically, South Africa cannot be saved. This unitary state must go. It is only the tribes that will survive. The other is not going to make it. But then again, there is about 30 million people, too much in South Africa. South Africa can cope with a population of around about 45 million. With all illegals included, we are sitting at about 85, 90 million. And the science is clear. Go and look in the cities. The sewage systems cannot cope. There is not water. The water systems cannot cope. The electricity system cannot cope. Nothing can cope. And you must understand the bad part of this water deterioration is that water is needed for the crops that we eat. So, prepare yourself for empty shelves. Prepare yourself for seeing people dying of famine. You better prepare yourself for it because that is what is coming. And you can bluff yourself as many times as you want, but that is what is coming. And I mean, I see these youngsters and they're talking about land restitution and then they talk this and that. The fucking problem is they never experienced a country that was actually working. They never experienced an environment where you could go out and find a job and get employed and earn a salary. They never experienced that. They never experienced a railway system that worked. They never experienced it. They never experienced a Home Affairs office where you walk in and there's 10 counters and all 10 has got people at it and the queue in which you are standing is 3 or 4 and within half an hour you're out and done and all your stuff is done and 2 weeks later you can come and fetch your passport or your ID book or what. They never experienced that. They only experience shit. But they've got a big mouth about apartheid. And you sit and you look at the people that is the ministers. My folk, those people can't even administer his own fucking shithouse. But he's administering a portion of the country. But you're happy with it. Why is that? Because your levels of standards are so low. You swim through the sewage every day when you walk into the streets, but it doesn't bother you. You climb over heaps and heaps of garbage on your way to the bus stop or the taxi rank. It doesn't bother you. You just bliksem some more papers and shit on it. That is the thing. That is the difference. That is the difference between civilized and barbarian and low standards. You've got a lot of things to say about Orania. Show me one black township that functions the way that Orania functions. You cannot show me one. You cannot. But you're quick to say that Orania must be destroyed. And from that I have to deduct that you don't want to see anything that is working and that is successful. You are quick to say whites stole the land. Go and listen to what people with brains, like Mbeki, says. There was no such thing. Land ownership was acquired over ages through wars, and the winners took the land. That's how it worked. But you're too stupid to grasp that. And Moses 6 verse 6 is clear. Stupid people must suffer. Not stupid people will suffer or may suffer. Stupid people must suffer. And we see the suffering. You are sitting there with your phone and your TikTok and that, but you don't have a future. If you don't get a SASSA grant, you will have nothing. If you don't go out and loot or steal, you've got nothing. So you will never have anything in your life. You will only get enough not to die, but you will never have anything. But yet you support that system, the system that's going to wipe you out. What is that? I can only call it stupid. But now you're going to call me a racist. I don't give a fuck. Call me a racist. I'm talking facts. But what you must understand very clearly, XXX has got no plans for you to survive. Nothing. Nowhere in their business plan is there an outcome where you will survive. They want us all away. I mean, look at the things that is coming out now about the pestilence. That was clear that that thing was poison. But, okay. What is happening? Are you out in the streets, in front of the Department of Health, calling them out and telling them to fuck off? No. You will go into the streets and sing, kill the boer, kill the farmer. Why? Because you're fucking stupid. That is why XXX has given you all the power. Because it's easy to manage stupid people. You manage them with a packet of Kentucky and a t-shirt at the most expensive. This is how it works. The apartheid regime made South Africa the best economy in Africa, a world contender on many levels. Today, what can South Africa offer BRICS? Fuck all. Nothing. Why are we in BRICS? Because of the Cape Sea route. That's all. The Chinese is no longer investing in South Africa. The Russians don't want to invest in South Africa. A lot of the Western companies don't want to invest in South Africa anymore. Look at how many millions of dollars has been taken out of the economy by foreign investors. Ask yourself why. I asked one guy, and he said, well, the big problem they have, first of all, there's no reliable electricity, and secondly, they've got a major problem with the labor force. The labor force is unskilled. He said they don't have the skills that is needed. So they rather take their factories to somewhere in the east. But you don't understand that. You are useless eaters. You are of no use to the economic realities of the world. And XXX is about economy. So you must ask yourself, why are you there? I'm going to tell you why you're there. You're the cannon fodder. You are the ones that are going to make the country ungovernable, and then the peacekeepers will come in and remove you. Think about that. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.